160 juta tak mungkin sama. Pecah saja kalau berbeda, kata mereka. Tapi beda kita betul berbeda. Beda yang tak kelam, tak karam, satu pengorbanan, satu perjuangan. Sama-sama mencari cara, meski arah berbeda-beda. Beda yang dicari, beda kemana berlari. Tapi yang penting bukan menang sendiri. Negeri ini butuh banyak cara supaya semua orang berani bermimpi. Tapi bukan kosong mimpinya. Untuk timbulkan keberanian, berani yang tidak dibakar bimbang. Untuk bangkit walau tanah tak lagi tanah rata. Tanah yang penuh genangan air mata. Jangan lupakan perjuangan leluhur bangsa. Menegakkan merdeka, merajut mimpi bersama. Menghamparkan harta untuk senantiasa kita jaga. Sekarang, nanti, dan selamanya. Hentikan tinggi hati, congkak diri, berdiri sendiri. Meski berbeda, rekatkan tali silaturahmi. Kita membuka hati dan saling berbagi. Yakinlah, perbedaan kita itu kekayaan tak terkira, modal utama mewujudkan bangsa yang gemilang. Kita punya banyak cara. Kita selalu maju untuk bangsa. Kita Indonesia. Kita maju sama-sama.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Country Director Google Indonesia, Randy Yusuf.
Selamat pagi semuanya, teman-teman VIP dan semuanya VIP yang datang ke acara Google for Indonesia hari ini. Welcome to Google for Indonesia's Year in Search Insights for Brand session. My name is Randy Yusuf, the Managing Director of Google Indonesia. In this morning session, I spoke about Indonesia's visions of Maju Sama-sama, moving forward together. Indonesia is currently on track to become one of the world's largest digital economies. At Google, we believe that we have a responsibility to contribute to the bright future through 4 key pillars. Firstly, by providing access to the internet. We spoke about expanding Google Station through a partnership with PT Telkom to provide even more Indonesians with free and high-quality Wi-Fi in various cities and various islands across the nation. Secondly, by advancing Indonesia's digital skills. Over the years, our digital skilling program have trained more than 1.6 million people, local SMEs, job seekers, youth, and aspiring tech talent. Today, we brought together all these programs under one initiative called Grow with Google. I'm particularly excited about the announcement that we made called Bangkit, a highly selective program to train top tech talent in the country. In this program, we are partnering with Tokopedia, Traveloka, and Gojek to teach both machine learning and critical soft skills. We want Bangkit graduates to become highly employable at any world-class technology company. Thirdly, by building helpful and locally relevant products. We spoke about many exciting new products, including introducing Google Translate at Google Go, which will help many first-time internet users who live in rural areas. We are also very excited about search, where we introduce the key moments features to make more content searchable, as well as AI-powered lens in image search. Google Assistant introduced new advancements such as actions to check your account balance with BCA Bank as well as ordering martabak with Gojek, or bakmi, or burger, or whatever food you want. For Google Maps, we introduced features such as Stay Saver to alert you when your ride is going off-route, as well as the ability to follow your local guides. Last but not least, we shared about the exciting YouTube music streaming service, as well as YouTube Premium that we just recently launched. Lastly, by empowering people to secure their privacy and their safety online. Supporting Indonesia's digital growth also means addressing technology's challenges. This year, we started rolling out more ways for people to protect their privacy, like new ways to use Google Apps with incognito mode on Maps and Google Go, do privacy checkups, and offer options to automatically delete your data. This August, we announced a Google.org grant to Mavindo to help local communities recognize this information through workshops as well as through educational videos. We have also worked together with Kominfo, BSSN, and others to launch a Jaga Privasimu campaign on privacy and online security. We will tirelessly continue to develop high-quality products alongside strong privacy protections, as well as online safety training for all Indonesian internet users. So if you didn't get a chance to attend this morning's session, I'd like to encourage you to check out our Google Indonesia's YouTube channel and watch it 2 times, 3 times, 10 times if you want to. Up to you. So now, without further ado, let's welcome Veronica to come to the stage to kick off the next session by presenting this year's Year in Search Report Insights. Welcome, Vero.
Makasih Randy. Selamat siang semuanya. Apa kabar? Belum pada kenyang makan siangnya, makanya lemes. Saya senang sekali karena hari ini saya bisa membagikan 5 user trends yang sudah kami lihat di Google Search selama tahun 2019. Tapi sebelum itu saya mau cerita dulu. Buat yang kenal sama saya atau yang follow saya di sosmed, Anda pasti tahu kalau main board game atau card game itu salah satu hobi keluarga saya di saat weekend. Uno, Cluedo, Monopoly, Scrabble, you name it, we got it. Nah suami saya ini fans berat permainan catur, dulu mau jadi Grandmaster tapi nggak kesampaian. Dan dia pastinya mau memastikan bahwa kedua anak laki-lakinya diperkenalkan game ini. Nah di saat kita lagi ngenalin permainan ini, di awal-awal mereka mencoba belajar, dan untuk kesekian kalinya suami saya dengan kejamnya menskakmat anak saya, Prama namanya, dia umurnya 8 tahun, dia akhirnya ngambek. Terus dia bilang, aku nggak bisa main catur, ini terlalu susah. Saya ajak dia duduk bareng, terus saya tanya, kenapa dek? Terus dia bilang, I know all the rules, I understand all the rules, but why am I still not winning? So I explained to him the essence of the game. And I told him, winning at chess is not just about understanding the rules and the moves. You have to be able to anticipate what your opponent's next move would be based on their previous moves, and then you play your strategy accordingly. I know it's a bit too much to tell an 8-year-old, right? So he basically said, like, Mom, I still don't get it, and it sounds really hard, and it's basically given up on the game. My point is, as marketers and advertisers, in a way we're also playing our own game of chess, right? With the way that our consumers are moving really fast and evolving. So we too need to move towards anticipating what really matters to them. And that's really the only way to win. My name is Veronica, and that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today. Hari ini saya akan membagikan bagaimana Google bisa membantu Anda mengantisipasi apa sih yang penting untuk konsumen kita, dan juga membagikan beberapa insight yang penting dari Google yang bisa menginspirasi mudah-mudahan inovasi produk yang berikutnya atau marketing campaign yang berikutnya to build your brand, better connect with your consumers, and help you win. Setelah saya, kita akan ada beberapa teman-teman yang akan bercerita bagaimana brands dan companies lain menggunakan insight-insight ini untuk kemudian dijadikan company and brand strateginya to capture consumers' hearts and also minds. Sejak saya join Google hampir 5 tahun yang lalu, I'm continuously amazed at how fast
the digital landscape actually changes the way that Indonesians live every single day. Indonesia remains the largest and the fastest growing internet economy in Southeast Asia. Nilainya saat ini sudah mencapai 40 miliar US dollar dan di-expect untuk terus tumbuh 49% CAGR hingga 130 miliar di tahun 2025. Pertumbuhannya memang luar biasa dan semua ini didorong oleh pertumbuhan populasi internet yang saat ini sudah mencapai 171 juta orang Indonesia. Itu berarti sudah 57% dari jumlah total populasi Indonesia. So I'm sure you're wondering, how do I make sure that my company keeps up with the changing behaviors that is driven by this digital change, and with all these new types of businesses becoming part of Indonesians' daily life? How do I stay connected with my consumers? If there's one thing I found that has helped me as a marketer over the last 15 years, it is the power of understanding what matters to our consumers and acting upon it. These insights can and should help inform the way we design our product, the way we communicate our message, and help us anticipate what matters to them. Today, we're proud to release our second edition of Year in Search Insights for Brands in the year 2019, where we share an accumulation of key insights for brands based on our own Google data, combined with third-party research results, and curated for brand builders like yourself. So, without further ado, allow me to share the 5 key insights we found in 2019 at Google. Our first insight today is about the incredible growth of e-money. E-money is enabling the growth of digital transactions, and it's moving consumers down the purchase funnel. It is solidifying the position of the internet from previously just a place of discovery to a place where transactions are being closed. Convenience, practicality, attractive promotions, these are the main reasons for this fast growth. Kita ambil contoh kota Yogyakarta. Di sana pemerintah menerapkan kebijakan bahwa pembelian tiket kereta api untuk beberapa rute tertentu itu hanya bisa dilakukan melalui aplikasi mobile. Hal ini bisa dilakukan karena Jogja ini memang banyak mahasiswanya dibandingkan dengan kota-kota lain. Dan karena itu mereka jauh lebih terbuka terhadap teknologi baru. Sehingga penggunaan e-money dan cashless technology lebih cepat dibandingkan tempat lainnya. Nah, kita sendiri tahu ya, persaingan di kategori ini memang sangat-sangat tinggi. Dan sebagai konsumen, pasti kita semua juga bingung. Pilihannya banyak banget. Sehingga nggak heran, makin sulit bagi kita semua untuk memutuskan sistem digital payment mana sih yang paling baik yang mau dipilih. Makanya at Google, we've seen a 2.7x growth in searches related to digital wallet. And you see rising keywords like dompet digital terbaik over the past year. This basically shows that consumers are becoming more selective. They want to be more smarter in how they choose their digital payment systems. And it's important for brands to ensure that the experience that users have is friendly and easy. Insight yang kedua berkaitan dengan evolusi consumer di daerah luar kota besar. Tahun lalu, we said that these non-metro users were starting to come online. Nah, apa bedanya tahun ini? Bedanya tahun ini, kami melihat bagaimana peran mereka ini mulai meningkat dalam pertumbuhan online shopper baru. Today, the gross market value per capita in Jabodetabek is 5 times what it is outside Jabodetabek. However, based on our recent study with Temasek and Bain, in 2025, metros will be growing by 2x, while non-metros will be growing by 4x. Now, we don't need to look very far to see proof of this. Beberapa bulan yang lalu, saya lagi ngobrol-ngobrol sama Mbak di rumah, namanya Mbak Us. Umurnya 20 tahun, dan dia aslinya dari sebuah desa di pucuk gunung, 1,5 jam naik motor dari kota Temanggung. Tahu Temanggung di mana ya? Tes IPS dulu. Temanggung di mana coba? Di Jawa Tengah. She's very fluent with the internet. She watches TV on YouTube on her phone. She shops online, And you cannot believe jumlah paket yang dia terima tiap minggu itu nyanyiin saya. Saya tanya sama dia, Mbak, kamu hebat banget sih, ini sering banget gitu belanja online. Teman-teman kamu di rumah kayak gini juga nggak gitu? And she said, yes, of course. Mereka semua juga belanja online. Dan nggak hanya itu, bahkan mereka juga udah mulai jualan online. Dan mereka yang nggak punya rekening, itu ada aja akal-akalnya ya kalau orang Indonesia ya. Pembayarannya, transaksinya itu lewat temennya atau tetangganya, titip bayar. It's amazing how fast this behavior is changing. Nah pertanyaannya adalah apa sih yang dicari oleh user dari luar kota besar ini? Now through our internal data, we've seen a rise on search interest across key verticals, such as beauty and personal care. We've seen that among non-metro users, these grew by 80% in non-metros. Even travel, right, which we think is a very urban metro kind of culture, searches related to flights too increased by 90% over the past year. And believe it or not, the highest search per capita came on this kind of search term came from East Indonesia, Indonesia Timur. And then YouTube searches on the term gaming also experienced a 60% spike in the past year. And again, this is coming from outside of metros, indicating an increase in the interest in the topic. So now that you're seeing that users, even from non-metros, are already searching for these industries, how do you make sure that your brands and your businesses are tapping into this growth? Moving on to our next insight. I don't know about how many of you actually saat masa kampanye pemilu kemarin, berapa banyak yang nonton debat dari HP, debat presiden? Lumayan ya, ini pasti orang-orang sibuk semua nih. Sama kayak saya, sempatnya nonton di jalan lagi macet. So a lot of us are now watching this kind of content on their phone. And this leads me to my third insight, which is an increased viewership of TV content on the mobile phone, on the small screen of the mobile phone. We now have more than 79 million and counting every single day. 18 plus unique viewers watching YouTube videos monthly. We've seen a 2x growth in interest for content that was previously only watched on the big screen of TV on YouTube. And two of the most searched contents are sinetron and also, can you guess? News. Karena itulah, makanya sekarang local content providers dan juga brand and businesses, we have to rethink bagaimana mempresentasikan konten kita, konten Anda untuk layar HP yang lebih kecil dan juga lebih bite size. And it makes sense. Consumers now get to pick and they choose what they want to watch, when they want to watch, and where they want to watch it. Nah, lalu yang keempat. Selama 1 tahun terakhir, kami juga melihat bahwa consumers itu semakin sophisticated in what they expect from brands. Makin canggih, right? They're looking for additional features and values. Artinya apa? Bukan berarti bahwa mereka mencari barang mewah. Yang mereka cari adalah fitur dan produk yang semakin spesifik, yang bisa membuat hidup mereka lebih mudah, memberikan manfaat yang lebih, dan seringkali merajuk pada tren-tren yang terjadi di luar Indonesia. And it happens very fast. And you can see this through significant growth interest in healthy skin alongside the rising concern on pollution. And you see a 1.x growth in micellar water. Also, value-add features such as keyless, right? In the auto industry, growing 1.6 times in the past year. And my favorite, Himalayan salt. Do you know what Himalayan salt is for? Apparently you can do a lot of things, from skincare to healthcare, outside and inside. That grew by almost 3 times, right? So it's a clear indication that Indonesians have become much more selective and smart in what they want. And what used to be luxury back then is now considered mass market. And what's driving this is increased access to global information. As a marketer, it's our job to understand these insights, and hopefully it will help you inform what kind of new product features do you need to think about to address these kinds of new interests. And last but not least, salah satu perubahan terbesar yang kami lihat di Google adalah bagaimana consumers semakin tertarik dan peduli dengan isu-isu lingkungan. Nah, saya sendiri berusaha banget buat go green. Saya selalu berusaha untuk bawa reusable shopping bags atau bawa tumbler saat ngopi. Nah, kalau Anda akhir-akhir ini ke Bali, if you notice, mereka tuh banyak yang nggak menyediakan kantong plastik untuk belanja. Nggak cuma di supermarket, tapi juga bahkan di warung-warung. Now, through search, we've seen a growing awareness and concern around environmental issues happening across the nation. So this is not a phenomenon that is Jakarta only or Jaksel only, right? This is happening across the country. You see a 3.9, this is almost 4 times growth in the term kualitas udara, right? How many of you have this app installed now to check every morning whether it's safe to run? And a 2.7 times growth in the term electric car. And even on YouTube, you'll see trends created by accounts like Tuah Raja. He's a YouTube creator with more than 1 million subscribers. And what they do is they share really cool ways of using plastic waste and creating something really cool out of it, like a mobile phone case out of straws. Consumers are becoming more conscious and they're searching for ways to contribute to a greener environment. So, while I agree with my son that it may be difficult to play chess, I will never become good at chess. But with Google Insights, it shouldn't be that difficult to anticipate what matters to your consumers. Not only do we see that Indonesians are evolving, we now have the insights at our fingertips. And in the report, you'll actually be able to see actually much more insights from different verticals, much more in depth. All these insights hopefully will give you vision to what is possible. But the question now stands, now that you have these insights, how do you turn them into action? And so for the next hour or so, we're going to have a few of our partners who not only have done a fantastic job understanding and identifying these issues, but also have been able to anticipate and turn them into clear business strategies and action. And to lead us on this insightful journey, allow me to invite my friend Aldi, CEO of GoPay, to share his perspective on our first insight. Terima kasih, thank you very much. Have a great day. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Oh ya, selamat siang semuanya. Nama saya Aldi, saya CEO GoPay. Jadi hari ini saya akan cerita tentang mengapa sih kami membangun GoPay gitu. Jadi bukan hanya tentang e-money, tapi apa sih di belakang tujuan kami melakukan GoPay gitu. Jadi kalau banyak orang yang melihat tentang kehebohan e-money itu mikirnya tentang cashback yang di mall, yang di bawah, bener gak? Gitu. Pasti di sini semuanya udah pernah nikmatin cashbacknya GoPay lah, OVO lah, semuanya gitu. Tapi sebenarnya e-money itu paling bermanfaat bukan buat kita, tapi buat orang-orang yang nggak punya bank account. 77% dari orang Indonesia itu either unbank atau punya bank account tapi nggak pernah pakai. Dan pas kita dengar juga dari Mbah Google, ini ternyata yang searching e-money ini kebanyakan bukan dari kota-kota besar, bukan dari 5 kota besar, tapi justru dari kota-kota kecil. Gitu. Jadi justru untuk ibu seperti di sebelah kiri ini gitu. Jadi bagaimana e-money ini bisa membantu mereka. Jadi tujuan kami membangun e-money sebenarnya adalah bagaimana akhirnya digital payments bisa membantu wong cilik. Kita akan mulai dari merchant, lalu ke driver, lalu bagaimana kita semua di sini bisa kerjasama untuk menuju ke sana. Pertama dari merchant gitu. Jadi banyak yang mengira kalau Gojek itu aplikasi utamanya adalah aplikasi untuk konsumer saja. Jadi kita super app buat konsumer karena bisa untuk macam-macam. Tapi sebenarnya Gojek itu punya 2 lagi super app. Satu itu super app-nya untuk restoran atau merchant, satu lagi untuk driver. Nah, di mana peran e-money di sini gitu. Jadi saya punya salah satu nasi goreng favorit namanya nasi goreng Abjay di Jakarta Selatan. Gitu. Mungkin banyak yang pernah makan di situ, ngantrinya panjang. Pedagang kecil seperti itu kalau mau buka cabang baru atau mau expand, banyak tantangannya. Yang pertama, modal sulit. Karena dia nggak punya data yang bisa dijadikan bukti untuk dibawa ke bank. Yang kedua, kalau dia buka cabang, katanya Pak, saya nggak percaya sama yang jaga toko, nanti kalau uangnya ditilep gimana? Gitu. Nah, yang ketiga, dia susah menarik customer di luar dari orang yang datang ke dia. Kalau udah beken kayak Abjay enak orang datang, tapi kalau enggak susah. Jadi, yang kita lakukan apa? Misalnya untuk Abjay ini kita bantu dia sewa di pasaraya, bagi hasil. Lalu pembayarannya pakai apa? Pakai GoPay. Gitu, sehingga data transaksinya semua bisa terlihat. Jikalau nanti pemiliknya ingin buka cabang lagi, bisa karena datanya sudah ada. Ini contoh dari bagaimana cara kita membangun UMKM dan pedagang kecil ini untuk maju. Siapa tahu nanti Abjay bisa buka di Singapura, ya enggak? Yang kedua untuk driver, gitu. Jadi tokoh utamanya bukan mbak-mbak bule di tengah, tapi justru mbak ini namanya Mbak Nila. Jadi sekitar 1,5 tahun lalu kita dapat kunjungan dari Ratu Belanda dan saya ketemu sama driver-driver Gojek yang ibaratnya tokoh-tokoh lah gitu. Dan Mbak Nila ini datang meluk saya bilang, Mas Aldi terima kasih banget ya gitu. Saya nggak kebayang bisa akhirnya punya rumah. Saya itu single mom, udah jadi Gojek 3 tahun. Dan karena Mas Aldi bikin program sama Bank BTN, untuk kita bisa tiap hari nabung untuk bisa punya rumah, saya dapat KPR. Dan baru kemarin pindah ke rumah baru. Jadi kalau di kita tuh fokusnya bukan driver sebagai penyedia jasa transportasi, tapi driver sebagai kepala keluarga. Bagaimana aplikasi kita itu bukan hanya menjadi cara dia mendapatkan uang, tapi bagaimana dia bisa memenuhi kebutuhan keluarganya. Dan disinilah mengapa GoPay sangat penting. Karena setiap hari dia ada pendapatan, bisa dipotong untuk tadi KPR rumahnya. Kita juga punya program untuk driver, dia bisa motong uangnya untuk tabungan pendidikan anaknya. Karena driver mana yang nggak mau anaknya kuliah, ya nggak? Kita juga punya program untuk driver itu umroh. Ada driver yang SMS kita kemarin dari Mekah, dia kasih WhatsApp, pakai jaket Gojek, terima kasih Pak, akhirnya mimpi saya tercapai. Karena Imani, karena GoPay. Gitu. Bahkan sekarang, untuk bagi yang para marketer FMCG ini, kita punya program supaya driver itu bisa pesen sembako, makanan, shampoo segala macam secara gelondongan supaya nggak mahal beli sachet. Gitu. Jadi di sini sih sebenarnya menurut saya yang istimewanya Gojek adalah kita tidak pernah hanya memikirkan driver sebagai penyedia jasa atau merchant sebagai restoran, tapi sebagai manusia apa kebutuhannya. Dan itulah gunanya Imani. Imani itu hanya jalan menuju sesuatu, bukan tujuan akhirnya. Jadi cashback is one thing, tapi sebenarnya end goal-nya adalah bagaimana kita bisa membuat semua ini, Indonesia ini lebih rata. Alhamdulillah, kalau kita lihat datanya, itu awareness tentang Imani jauh lebih tinggi. Hampir 3 kali lipat naik orang yang nyari tentang bagaimana cara menggunakan Imani. Yang lebih keren lagi, ini orang yang nyari, yang peningkatan untuk pedagang kecil yang nyari tentang bagaimana menjadi pedagang Imani, jadi pedagang GoPay, itu naik 5 kali lipat. Gitu. Waktu kita bikin program edukasi tentang bagaimana cara meningkatkan pendapatan sebagai UMKM itu antriannya panjang banget. Gitu. Jadi Imani ini bukan hanya jadi cara pembayaran, tapi cara menggapai mimpi bagi orang-orang yang kita bantu. Untuk kita bisa menjadi sebuah perusahaan yang benar-benar membantu masyarakat dan pedagang dan driver secara holistik, gimana caranya gitu. Kalau saya punya aturan, semua orang yang kerja di GoPay itu harus turun ke lapangan. Sekitar 3 minggu lalu saya jadi pelayan di warung kopi. Setiap 5 menit datang driver Gojek minta pesanan. Kadang-kadang ada yang Grab juga gitu. Udah gitu kita mesti ngelihat masukin di kita mesti masukin di kasirnya gitu. Ternyata susah. Jadi kalau misalnya kita membuat produk di kantor itu kesannya apa ya? Oke, kelihatannya gampang gitu karena di atas kertas logiknya flow-nya mudah. Tapi giliran di lapangan situasi, persepsi dan bayangan orang itu berbeda gitu. Jadi bagi kami di Gojek sangat penting bagi karyawan kami untuk bisa benar-benar turun ke lapangan. Gitu. Kadang-kadang jadi driver Gojek, kadang-kadang jadi kasir, kadang-kadang jadi macam-macam. Karena that's the only way kita bisa membuat produk yang di luar dari apa yang kita berikan secara jasa. Jadi kita bukan perusahaan dari ride hailing, pindah ke food delivery, lalu pindah ke financial service. Dari awal kita adalah sebuah perusahaan yang membantu driver, membantu restoran, dan membantu teman-teman semua di sini. And the only way adalah dengan kita benar-benar fokus ke customer. Yang sering membuat saya sedih adalah kadang-kadang banyak berita di koran, wah GoPay akan ngebunuh bank gitu. Atau e-money akan mengambil pangsa pasar dari layanan keuangan formal gitu. Enggak gitu. Justru menurut saya pasarnya masih sangat besar. Dan sebenarnya fungsi kita apa sih? Sebenarnya kita tuh adalah suatu jembatan yang akan membangun ekosistem. Jadi kalau kita lihat terumbu karang, itu semakin banyak orang yang terlibat, semakin besar ekosistemnya. Misalnya tadi kita sudah bicara, Bank BTN sama kita partner untuk memberikan driver pinjaman KPR. Kita partner dengan BNI Syariah untuk memberikan tabungan umroh. Kita partner dengan Alfamart dan beberapa grocery lainnya untuk memberikan akses sembako dan grocery yang affordable, yang terjangkau untuk para driver dan customer kita yang di desa-desa. Kita bahkan kerjasama dengan supplier seperti Mas Pion dan yang lain melalui Arisan Mapan untuk membuat supaya panci yang tadinya harganya 300.000 itu bisa dicicil setiap bulan. Jadi kalau kita mau membuat sebuah perubahan untuk Indonesia, kita harus berhenti berpikir bahwa e-money atau industri kita harus benar-benar mikirin apa sih yang dibutuhkan oleh driver, oleh komunitas, terutama orang-orang yang jarang kita ketemu. Karena itu paling susah, tapi sebenarnya potensi paling besar. Dan disinilah saya mengajak teman-teman di sini semua untuk yuk sama-sama kita gotong royong, kita bangun jembatan supaya yang menikmati manfaat dari e-money dan digital payment ini bukan hanya orang-orang yang di mall yang belanja untuk cashback, tapi orang-orang yang ingin anaknya bisa kuliah, anak keluarganya punya rumah. Jadi dalam waktu 10 tahun lagi, nggak ada lagi orang Indonesia yang masih mikir besok makan apa, anak saya bisa sekolah apa enggak. Dan itu bisa kalau kita sama-sama bareng-bareng, gotong royong, kerjasama untuk membangun jalan menuju ke sana. Terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Aldi. Now, let's welcome our next speaker, Ibu Emma Sri Martini, President Director of Telkomsel, who will share on the second key insight on how non-metro is key to Indonesia's growth and sustainability.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat siang, a very good afternoon. Thank you for Google Indonesia who has been inviting Telkomsel. This is really a great honor for me to be here. Thank you also for all the CEO, all the senior leaders from Google's, and all distinguished guests and participants. Please allow me to speak in Bahasa because I think I see that most audience is Indonesian, so better to speak in Bahasa. For those of you who cannot speak in Bahasa, please learn Bahasa. In one month. Because Bahasa is very simple language. Only within a month you can speak Bahasa very fluent. Trust me. Otherwise, I can teach you in 1 month. Saya Emma Sri Martini. It's only 6 months. I'm joining Telkomsel, so I still learn what happened with the telco industry. I used to work for financial industry before, for infrastructure financing. So it's quite total big difference compared to financial industry as well as telco, even though that the telco is one of the infrastructure sectors that we are financing. But I'm so excited to learn about telco and what's really going on within Telkomsel, because we are in the middle of transforming our institutions from telco institutions becoming the digital telco institutions. So I think Telkomsel, if you are familiar, because Telkomsel is now perceived as quite old company, but actually it's not. It's only 24 years. Still, older compared to my age. My age is much older compared to Telkomsel. So I think this is really a great honor for me to be here. I'm going to share with you our take on the importance non-metro advancements. I think this is one of the key insight which is presented by Veronica in the previous sessions. Telkomsel sekarang sudah memiliki 210 BTS across Indonesia. Coverage kita sudah hadir di seluruh provinsi, Pemda, kabupaten kota, di 514 kabupaten kota. Tapi karena demografi, situasi kepulauan Indonesia yang demikian kompleks, sehingga pasti selalu ada aja blank spot. That's unavoidable. Dengan 210 ribu BTS, 170 juta customer, 4G, 3G, 2G. Nah tadi disampaikan 2G ini kita tidak bisa abolish begitu saja. Karena apa? Beberapa user khususnya di rural area masih menggunakan 2G karena affordability, purchasing power, even untuk membeli handset yang smartphone aja masih belum terjangkau. Nah ini rasanya bagian dari CSR program untuk seluruh stakeholders bagaimana kita bisa mengamplify, mengenabling seluruh ekosistem menjadi ready untuk menghadapi digital ekonomi ke depan. Ini yang rasanya kita PR bersama. Tadi disampaikan juga Kak Veronica bahwa ini penetrasi internet sudah sangat agresif kalau dibandingkan dengan 2017, udah almost double 2018 ya. Dan in fact 4 kali lebih besar pertumbuhan di non-metro. Ini yang kita highlight. Kalau kita lihat lagi consumption digital economic engine itu sebetulnya grew up dari non-metro, compared to metro. Metro sepertinya besar, tapi sebetulnya kalau secara akumulasi karena non-metronya itu lebih banyak dibanding metro, sehingga secara growth jauh lebih besar non-metro. Ini yang dari hasil insight juga mengatakan demikian. In the next 5 years will be growing even double from metro. Apa yang dilakukan Telkomsel? Saya rasa semua institusi mulai bergerak ke arah yang lebih memberikan value. It's not so much about shareholders value, but it's all about stakeholders value. What is it about stakeholders value? It's not that easy to convince the shareholder that we have to bring stakeholders value instead. Beyond the shareholders value. I think this is much more on how that we can support the government to achieving SDG, the 17 goals of SDG. Telco industry, I think this becoming foundations to supporting all this SDG, you name it. Without any telco connectivity, we cannot reach education, health, and all the things. Digital economy cannot be happening without telco as a foundations, as the basic industry to supporting all these 17 goals. This is our 4 pillars that how we are fully committed to support SDGs. The first pillar, we are more focusing on the educations. This is our program, Indonesia Next. Kita hadir di berbagai universitas, kemarin terakhir hadir di ITB, terdaftar lebih dari 1.000 mahasiswa untuk mengikuti program Indonesia Next. Nanti kita seleksi sekitar 10 sampai 30 yang terbaik kita akan kirim keluar ke grup kita bersama dengan Singtel, apakah itu di Thailand, di Australia, di Singapura, untuk bersama-sama mengikuti digital course terkait dengan skill set yang terkait dengan digital talent yang dimiliki, apakah itu big data, AI, machine learning, seperti itu. Kemudian digital citizenship, ini next step. Ini kita program untuk membina babysit terkait dengan startup. Berbagai startup sudah happening, sudah banyak binaan NextDev, salah satunya adalah Cakap. Cakap adalah digital platform untuk e-learning terkait bahasa, belajar bahasa. Jadi di daerah rural yang tidak punya tempat kursus bahasa, bisa download aplikasi ini dan bisa belajar sendiri. Itu salah satunya. Ada juga terkait agriculture, ada juga terkait P2P lending. Jadi it's all about startup untuk yang NextDev. Community empowerment adalah program Baktiku Negeriku, ini juga sama, apakah terkait dengan women empowerment, supporting economic boosting, digital payment termasuk di salah satunya di situ, nanti kita lihat lebih jelas lagi. Dan terakhir adalah filantropi. Filantropi much more on seperti dana bantuan ya, untuk empowering, nanti kita lihat detailnya. Mungkin ini kita lihat videonya dulu. making social impact through technology. That is our tagline. Itulah 4 CSR pilar kita yang selalu kita jalankan bersama. Jadi kita bukan sekedar telco company, tapi kita ingin memberikan lebih kepada stakeholders dengan berbagai value melalui pencapaian SDGs. Berikut adalah contoh-contoh NextDev, ini yang kita bina. Ini sudah ada di berbagai kota, ada 24 kota kita melakukan seleksi. Dan dari hasil yang ada, beberapa itu sudah menjadi startup, udah mulai Series A dan bahkan sebagian sudah Series B. Dan salah satunya ini yang baik nih, yang sangat memberikan social impact yang sangat bagus dan memberikan breakthrough yang cukup mengejutkan. Penemunya adalah Mbak Christina. Mbak Christina Sembiring dari Medan, dia dari luar kota Medan, dan ini adalah merubah paradigma sebagai startup. Pertama dia perempuan, pertama dia sudah bukan anak muda lagi ya, istilahnya sudah lumayan senior, dia perawat dan dia dengan penghasilan perawat yang 500.000 per bulan akhirnya dia berpikir bagaimana dia bisa earning more income-nya dan memberikan value lebih. Dia come up dengan MOI. Ini adalah terkait dengan media untuk kesehatannya. Ini Medis Online Indonesia dan ini sudah beroperasi di Medan, Jakarta, Surabaya. Ini yang sudah hasil binaan NextDev yang sudah berhasil. Berikutnya adalah Baktiku Negeriku. Ini sudah mencapai 3.400 farmers. Ini digital e-learning, bisa memberikan edukasi kepada para petani, memberikan knowledge, know-how, bagaimana improve productivity, bagaimana digital marketing, kemudian menemukan menjadi fasilitasi atas marketplace, menghubungkan dengan potensial buyer sehingga dia bisa mendapatkan harga yang efektif. Sudah terjadi di 18 kota di seluruh Indonesia dan sudah digunakan oleh kurang lebih 10.000 petani. Ini salah satu social impact yang kita lakukan. Dari seluruh NextDev dari 2015 kita lakukan itu kurang lebih ada 5.000 submission dan di antara 5.000 itu sudah 100 menjadi startup yang sudah mulai bergulir. Ini yang sudah kita lakukan melalui CSR Telkomsel. Ini yang menarik. Ini salah satu program Baktiku Negeriku berada di lokasi Papua Barat, Kaimana. Ini adalah program Baktiku Negeriku. Ada seorang pemuda Papua, 26 tahun, Maulidin Walero namanya. Dia petani dari luar kota ya, dari Kaimana. Kemudian dia menemukan disupport oleh Baktiku Negeriku sehingga dia meningkatkan produktivitasnya untuk kue lontar. Ditemukan difasilitasi dengan marketplace sehingga dia bisa menjual ke tempat yang jauh, even sampai 65 km dari kota Kaimana. Bayangkan dengan berbantuan marketplace dia bisa reach out potensial buyer dan dia akhirnya mempunyai penghasilan yang cukup memadai untuk hidup sehari-hari. Ini yang digunakan di Kaimana. Ini juga membuktikan bahwa coverage presence network kita, broadband quality kita, quality of service kita sangat memadai, even di Papua Barat bisa digunakan untuk aplikasi berbasis apps dan juga meningkatkan ekonomi rakyat khususnya di daerah Papua. Kita tidak hanya berfokus di metro tapi non-metro, tadi sekali lagi ini adalah potensial sangat besar untuk kita dorong untuk menjadi enabler pertumbuhan digital ekonomi. I think that's all from my side. Thank you so much. So we are looking forward to collaborate with all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ibu Emma. And now let's all welcome Pak David Audi, CEO of PT MNC, who will share on the third key insight on how digital content is moving from widescreen to small screen.
Halo, selamat siang. Nama saya David Audi. Saya CEO daripada PT MNC Tbk, perusahaan yang bergerak di bidang penyiaran televisi. Mungkin Bapak Ibu tahu RCTI, MNC TV, GTV, dan iNews. Dan kita juga bergerak di bidang content production melalui MNC Pictures. Kerjaan kita tiap hari bikin sinetron. Tapi sinetron yang untuk TV ya, bukan drama real life. Jadi saya di sini ingin sharing tentang evolusi atau perubahan kebiasaan orang Indonesia dalam menonton, dalam mengkonsumsi konten. Kalau beberapa tahun lalu orang Indonesia terbiasa nonton hanya di TV, sekarang mereka sudah banyak beralih juga ke mobile dan ke komputer, laptop, dan jumlahnya cukup signifikan. Ya, according to Nielsen, 95% orang Indonesia itu nonton TV, tapi dia juga sembari menggunakan smartphone atau tablet PC. Ya, dan sebagai perusahaan media, kami juga beradaptasi dengan perubahan ini, infrastruktur dan strategi digital menjadi salah satu fokus daripada MNC. Dalam 8-10 menit ke depan, saya akan share sedikit daripada strategi kami dan bagaimana kita menyikapi dan memanfaatkan peluang di digital ini. Jadi apa sih yang orang Indonesia tonton secara online? Ya, kalau Bapak Ibu sadar, sebenarnya traffic di YouTube itu banyak, traffic juga yang sebenarnya dari konten televisi. Ya, salah satunya adalah drama, sinetron. Ya. Contohnya Dunia Terbalik. Ya, mungkin Bapak Ibu di sini nggak nonton sinetron ya, mungkin nontonnya pasti banyakkan Netflix atau Hook atau iFlix. Tapi mayoritas Indonesia itu masih sangat banyak sekali yang suka nonton sinetron. Dan Dunia Terbalik adalah salah satu konten yang sangat populer di YouTube. Ya, view-nya bisa sampai ratusan juta view sebulan, setiap bulan ya. Dan satu video aja itu ada yang sampai view-nya tuh sampai puluhan juta, bahkan ada yang 100 juta lebih, Dunia Terbalik. Dan mereka sedang, karena kita mengupload highlight-highlight daripada konten sinetron ini, karena kalau misalnya kita nggak sempat nonton TV, besoknya kita bisa lihat klips-klipsnya di YouTube, dan kita bisa up to date dengan jalan cerita sinetron tersebut. Nah, kemudian konten TV yang banyak dicari di YouTube tuh apa? Yaitu news content ya, news bukan hoax ya, news produksi daripada perusahaan media seperti MNC. Jadi kalau perusahaan media itu karena kita mempunyai standar editorial dan jurnalisme yang tinggi, jadi kita news yang kita produksi itu cenderung dicari dan juga banyak dikonsumsi di YouTube ya. Nah, kita salah satu channel kita di YouTube itu adalah iNews ya, TV berita kita, dan saat ini sudah 5 juta subscriber di YouTube. iNews juga memberikan kesempatan masyarakat untuk terlibat secara aktif dengan berita terkini. Kalau di TV kan linear, kalau di YouTube itu banyak functionnya, jadi bisa komen, bisa macam-macam. Contohnya seperti ini, ya, bisa live chatting. Nah, ini menjadi daya tarik tersendiri karena kita tahu penonton Indonesia itu, kok pada ketawa ya? Jadi orang Indonesia itu kan is very social and they like to comment on the Instagram account, YouTube dan macam-macam, dan di sini mereka bisa meluapkan ekspresi itu. Nah, kemudian dengan adanya YouTube iNews, mereka juga bisa share berita-berita yang dianggap menarik melalui sosial media punya mereka sendiri. Nah, kemudian ini ada satu yang menarik yang saya ingin share. Jadi sejak tahun 2011 itu kita sudah melihat bahwa sosial media ini punya potensi besar, atau platform seperti YouTube punya potensi besar. Jadi kita sudah memerintahkan kepada semua anak perusahaan daripada MNC, udah kalian semua masing-masing bikin sosial media account sendiri, bikin YouTube channel sendiri, bikin Instagram, Facebook, semua kita suruh bikin, kita suruh kelola sendiri, kita suruh mereka menumbuhkan subscriber yang mengisi kontennya. Ya, itu sudah dari 2011. Tapi baru dari sejak 2016 lalu kita konsolidasi. Jadi semua kita konsolidasi, kita sentralisasi, kita ajarin gimana caranya untuk membuat konten-konten yang bagus, uploadnya kapan dan sebagainya. Ya tentunya juga banyak dibantu dengan training dan komunikasi dengan tim YouTube dan tim Google Indonesia yang very wonderful and very supportive. Dan akhirnya ini hasilnya. Saat ini channel-channel kami itu ada totalnya 200 channel di YouTube dengan jumlah follower itu 50 juta lebih. Ya, hari ini tadi saya cek udah 51 hampir 52 juta, dan kita punya ratusan tim di kantor itu yang kerjanya editing, uploading daripada konten-konten yang sudah kita produksi di TV kita upload ke YouTube. Jumlahnya satu hari itu 1000 konten, ya. Jadi kalau mau ditanya siapa YouTuber terbesar di Indonesia? Ya, bukan Atta Halilintar, mohon maaf ya, tapi MNC. Dan mungkin Atta Halilintar maksimal dia sehari bisa upload 1-2 video, MNC satu hari bisa 1000. Oke, terus kemudian kita juga berinovasi dalam hal konten ya dan pengiklan. Jadi gini, kita kalau di TV linear streaming itu kan terbatas. Inventory linear streaming sangat berharga dan sangat mahal kalau kita jual. Tapi demand daripada klien banyak yang mau begini, mau begitu. Kadang kita sinetron kita mau di-build-in begini, begitu. Tapi kita tidak bisa. Kan nggak bisa semuanya kita masukin ke TV. Nah akhirnya kita dapat suatu ide, solusi untuk klien kita, yaitu brand content integration. Itu intinya adalah menggunakan IP sinetron kita dan kita padukan dengan brand untuk promotion sehingga ada amplification. Jadi message yang mau disampaikan ke klien itu lebih powerful. Nah ini contohnya ya. Jadi Toto itu adalah klien kami. Saya mau tanya Bapak Ibu di sini berapa banyak yang di rumahnya masih pakai toilet jongkok? Ya. Saya yakin banyak di sini, cuma mungkin malu-malu mau ngomong ya. Tapi mayoritas Indonesia itu, mayoritas penjualan toilet Toto itu masih banyak yang toilet jongkok. Dan Toto itu dia ingin toilet jongkok, dia ingin jadikan orang beli toilet duduk. Karena kenapa? Dia cuannya lebih besar, ya karena harganya lebih besar. Kalau toilet jongkok banyak saingan juga, apalagi barang-barang impor itu kan murah-murah, apalagi yang dari China. Jadi dia pengen edukasi masyarakat, terutama di perkampungan, di daerah rural, supaya orang mau beli toilet jongkok yang lebih menguntungkan daripada mereka. Caranya gimana? Nah kita punya sinetron Dunia Terbalik yang memang backgroundnya itu di perkampungan ya dan kita buat konten ini ya kita buat konten ini untuk mengedukasi masyarakat tapi bungkusnya komedi. Kita buat 13 episode kita upload hanya di YouTube jadi tidak mengkonsumsi linear inventory kami dan silakan ditonton ini contohnya trailernya 60 detik.
Ini teh makanya gimana sih?
Wah.
Pakai bahasa Inggris
Waduh.
Kang Kos, jangan dipencet atuh.
Memangnya kenapa?
Ntar kalau meledak teh kumaha sok. Babe tuh sabenari ngedengerin cerita kalau Bang Koswara pernah ngebenerin toilet barunya Bang Sobri.
Kumahanya, Ceh?
Edah, itu enak banget lu jamban ya. Gue kagak perlu repot-repot tuh yang namanya nyiram. Gue kagak perlu repot-repot tuh yang namanya jongkok kayak anak bocah main gundu. Tapi ngomong-ngomong lu udah pernah coba belum ya duduk sila di situ?
Di kampung ini, saya orang yang paling paham mengenai toilet. Ya saya.
Itu contohnya kita utilize on our intellectual property, kita create suatu solusi buat klien dan kita upload di YouTube dan berbagai sosial media. Kemudian finally salah satu lagi strategi MNC dalam menghadapi era digital ini adalah kita baru-baru ini thanks to YouTube and Google kita mendapatkan lisensi multi channel network ya. Apa itu MCN itu apa? MCN itu adalah support service kepada para YouTuber. Ya, jadi dengan bergabung dengan MCN MNC, kita bisa membantu mereka meningkatkan trafficnya, membantu mereka untuk membuat konten yang lebih menarik, dan bahkan bisa mengajak mereka menggunakan studio-studio kami, menggunakan peralatan kami. Kemudian juga kita bisa bantu mereka jualin sponsorship, ya. Misalnya kita bisa connect sama Unilever, P&G, dan berbagai macam brand, karena emang MNC begitu kerjanya. Tiap hari orang nonton TV gratis, orang baca website kita gratis, dengerin radio kita gratis, kita hidupnya dari iklan. Kalau jadi tiap hari itu pikiran kita gimana caranya ngejual iklan gitu. Makanya kita cocok banget nih sama YouTube. Oke, terus kemudian jadi dengan MCN ini saya mau kasih contoh. Ada salah satu contoh artis yang sukses sekali dan ini adalah YouTuber MCN kami. Saya yakin Bapak Ibu tahu, namanya nih Unmesh. Unmesh tahun ini dia menduduki semua peringkat lagu di Indonesia. Pasti Bapak Ibu sini tahu lagu Cinta Luar Biasa. Ya, itu di YouTube sampai saat ini 174 juta, menduduki tanggal lagu cukup lama di Indonesia selama tahun 2019. Dan bukan cuma itu, lagu yang kedua Hanya Rindu dan lagu yang ketiga Jangan Rubah Takdirmu ini baru diluncurkan juga sudah langsung tinggi. Totalnya 3 lagu ini hampir 280 juta. Nah ini adalah contoh YouTuber kita. Unmesh ini awalnya dari mana? Dia tuh dari program pencarian bakat namanya Rising Star. Kemudian ini juga Rising Star, kita punya channel juga di YouTube, kita juga sering upload konten-konten kita. Dan kemudian setelah dia lulus menang di situ, kita ajak dia gabung ke Star Media Nusantara. Dan kemudian juga dia bergabung dengan Hits record label kita, dan juga dia juga mempublish lagu melalui Star Cipta Musik Publishing milik MNC. Nah, kami juga memberikan Unmesh kesempatan untuk lebih banyak bisa untuk penetrate berbagai market ya. Dengan YouTube ini lumayan loh, cover-covernya ini sampai di Korea, di Amerika tuh banyak yang nyanyi pakai lagu ini. Nah, ini kami lakukan dengan memberikan dukungan dari membuat konsep yang sesuai hingga pemasaran di YouTube yang holistik. Jadi kita lakukan semua untuk si Unmesh ini, dan si Unmesh sangat senang sekali dengan hasil yang kita dapat. Kemudian contoh daripada YouTuber kita yang lain adalah Boy William, itu juga adalah YouTuber kita. Terus kemudian Ayu Ting Ting tentunya, ya. Jadi kurang lebih demikian penjelasan saya. Jadi itulah strategi MNC. Jadi kesimpulan kita, saat ini MNC adalah broadcaster mungkin yang terbesar di Indonesia, dan kita juga production house yang terbesar di Indonesia. Kita adalah talent management yang terbesar di Indonesia, dan kita ingin menjadi multi channel network yang terbesar di Indonesia. Dan bukan cuma di Indonesia, dan hopefully di Southeast Asia. Karena kenapa? Kalau di Indonesia udah besar, angkanya negara kita kan gede banget, ya pasti otomatis di Southeast Asia juga terbesar, gitu.
Betul Pak. Betul Pak.
Jadi kurang lebih demikian. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Pak David. Now coming on stage, please welcome Pak Kusumo Martanto, CEO of Blibli.com, who will share the fourth key insight on how consumers are becoming more sophisticated.
Morning everyone. Oh ya, masih bangun semua. Memang kalau diberikan slot setelah melihat selebriti seperti itu susah. Yeah, so it's a big challenge for me how to keep you awake. Yeah. And the rapidly evolving world where we are today, where the information is so abundant, right? It's so easy to get any answers you're looking for through your phones, right? Thanks to Google. The consumers also getting more and more sophisticated. Should I also say thanks to Google? Because they're getting more demanding, right? Regardless of which business, what kind of sector you are in, customers getting more and more demanding. And for us, for any of us here, in order to stay relevant, and this is not something new, it's not rocket scientist, it's not something that I invented. First, number one, you got to know what your customer wants, what your customers like, right? The only problem now is that customer wants so much, right? Who doesn't want cash back? See? Who doesn't want free ongkir, free everything free, right? So, why? Because we also see from Google Insight that customer wants convenient. Okay? Convenient. Who doesn't want convenient? Convenient is something interesting, I would say, right? Or should I say convenient or becoming lazy? Because now I see most people exercise more with their fingers than the real exercise, going to the gym or playing tennis or soccer or whatever, right? We are so good and diligently doing exercise using our fingers. Thank you, Pak. So, in our world as an e-commerce, one of the things that we see based on Google keyword search is a same-day delivery, right? People wants to have everything fast. So why bother shopping online if you have to wait a week or two to get your products delivered, right? People wants fast, same day. If possible, they want to have the products delivered coming out of your smartphone, right? Hopefully Google will come up with that technology soon. Well, for us, that becomes a great challenge, right? Because everybody know how great the logistics in Indonesia, right? But beyond that, because since day one, we believe in investing in our supply chains and everything, but we were thinking like, okay, what really matters? Which products you want? Which products that really matters to have fast delivery, right? And we decided that we're gonna launch what we call Blibli Mart. 2 years ago, we launched this. This is basically a category where every one of you, especially the working moms, the busy moms, can have such a convenience to fulfill your daily needs, right? But do we stop there? No, I think same-day delivery is not enough for us, okay? So recently, a couple of weeks ago, we also launched another feature where you can schedule the time window of the delivery, okay? In the world where so many uncertainties, at least we're trying to give one more certain things, right? Who will have a 100% confidence about what's going to happen tomorrow, the day after, next year, right? A lot of uncertainties. So we try to bridge this to bring some certainties. Well, it's been like 1.5 years after we launched Blibli Mart, and we've been grateful. It's still in the early journey, where right now, Blibli Mart not only making up half of the transactions that we have at Blibli, but also the fastest growing category in our platform. It grew by 5 times year on year. Okay? People in the past would say, hey, who would have bought fresh vegetable online? People want to see, people want to touch, right? But again, as one of the most trusted e-commerce in Indonesia, we want to use that as our strength point. We want to make sure that when you order fresh vegetable with us, and the color is supposed to be green, it will be delivered with the same color. Okay? Now, convenience is not just convenient, right? I mean, people getting more demanding when it comes to product and services, because there are so many options out there, right? And for us, I think if some of you may not aware, we were the first e-commerce in Indonesia who have the first free ongkir, okay? Who guaranteed that all the products that we have is original? Installment, 0, right? People love 0, right? And they want it fast, and they want it safe. They want to have 24/7 customer service. But one thing that I want to share today is the 15 days return policy. No one else, no other e-commerce that we know of in Indonesia is crazy enough to offer 15 days return policy. Oh, yeah, please, that's okay. Thank you. Why? Because we, thanks to our partners also, we want to give the best to our customers. That's why we want to say, hey, it's okay. For you, it's okay, yeah? Too many options, you buy from us, you change your mind, right? We like to change our mind, right? Even if you go to YouTube, maybe every minute we change what content we're consuming, right? The same thing with shopping. Sometimes you're not sure. Just buy. Because why? Because you can return it. And not just return, okay? We're gonna pick it up from your house from your office, from your girlfriend's kos-kosan. Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, I think my team will complain about that. And this thing doesn't stop there. We even invested in physical return spot in big cities. There, you know, when I went to one of those return spots that we have in Jakarta, I felt a bit sad because our return spot or our return center is actually much nicer than my own office. Something is wrong here, but it's okay, right? As long as customers are happy because they are so demanding, they are so sophisticated, so it's okay. We can be less sophisticated internally, right? As long as we can serve our customers, which are more sophisticated than we are. And we see the data. Right now, everything can be measured. So 89% of our customers who experience our return, basically they purchase, they change their mind, they return it, 89% come back to do a second purchase. And 80% actually come back less than a month to make a second purchase, third purchase, and so on and so forth. Okay? So with all of this, I think the key point here is that we cannot stand still. We have to keep innovating. We have to keep moving to answer of the demand of our customers, right? And we've been grateful that, you know, with a lot of things that we've done, we got new customers that grew 2.5 times in the last 1 year. With the our active customers, meaning that people who keep purchasing from us, thanks. If some of you here are our loyal customers, if you don't, please become one. It grew by double, and the number of average transaction per customers also double up for us. Now, what is it next, right? What's next, Pa? It's very exciting time because our mission is to enhance a shopping experience for all of us, right? Where we want to empower Indonesian, and now the technology make it possible than ever before. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Kusumo. Now, let's welcome Mr. Darnesh Gordon, CEO of Nestle Indonesia, who will speak on the last insight, how Indonesians are more aware of their impact to the environment and how Nestle is actioning on this insight.
Selamat siang semuanya. Good afternoon, everybody. You're still awake, right? I think I'm going to talk about the most important thing from every speaker today. So that's why they kept it last. And when we talk about brands, we talk about business, we have to talk about what value do we add to society, what choices people are making. So when I look at this topic and we look at, you know, I love the story about chess. I think it was fantastic about knowing the rules but anticipating. And I think if it's most meaningful for me when I sat there listening, I thought, wow, this really is so important. Because when we shape our business into the future, when we shape our brands, and our brands have relevance, it has meaning, it is about anticipating what consumers want. So, my name is Darnesh Gordon. I'm the CEO of Nestle. And in the Nestle family, we have many brands that many of you are very familiar with. And if you're not familiar, please buy more. I need a better bonus. So from Nescafe to Bear Brand to Dancao to Kit Kat, I even forget so many brands we have. But, you know, we've been in Indonesia for more than 80 years, and as a company, we exist for 153 years. And you cannot sustain a business, and you cannot have sustainable growth over 150 years or 80 years if you're not doing the right things. So I'm here to talk about changing consumer values, how it's impacting purchase decisions, and more importantly, how brands are at the forefront of change. contributing positively to society, whilst ensuring long-term business success. So, we know that consumer preferences are increasingly being driven by what the brand stands for, what the brand resonates with, values that people feel they embrace. More importantly, how does it make people feel, and less actually to do with functional benefits. So we can see this through a manifestation of rising key search words in Google. When you talk about 0.3 times growth in the term tas duar ulang, people are talking about recycled bags. Why suddenly the interest? Recycled bags are not new. What has happened? 3 times the growth in the word sedotan stainless. Stainless straw? Is it a new invention that's come from Mars? Where does it come from? So something is happening. 1 times 5 growth in the word sustainable. Did something happen? Or has it been happening and we haven't felt it? And I think this is something that we have to continue to think about, embrace within our business, and more importantly, if we want our brands to be relevant, if we want them to be alive and vibrant into the future, if we're not taking cognizance of this stuff, about listening, feeling what people are feeling, we're going to be challenging our businesses in whichever brand and whichever company you work for. At Nestle, we are driven by a purpose. Our purpose of enhancing the quality of life and contributing to a healthier future is something that drives every business decision. And when we talk about contributing to a healthier future and enhancing the quality of life, it encompasses a wide range of perspectives. So, how do we encourage and inspire people to live healthier lives? And the word healthier lives is not just about what you consume, it's the environment in which you live in. And how does this impact things? So one of the key enablers that we continue to embrace in our business is to achieve this purpose, we have to talk about sustainability. Sustainability, the impact, the negative impact of our packaging in the environment is so important. And why the talk about sustainability? Because you cannot have a purpose that's kind of devoid of stuff that's happening somewhere else. And it's hard. It's hard to re-engineer packaging that costs you sometimes even 7 times more expensive. So I give you an example. We recently launched a paper straw in our Nescafe. I'm supposed to be sweet. I'm sorry, I'm supposed to be pressing this thing, but you forget. When I talk about, okay, let me talk to you about the platforms. We talk about developing packaging for the future. We talk about helping shape a waste-free future and driving new behavior and understanding. Because when we look at the 3 platforms, when we talk about sustainability within Nestle, we focus on these 3 platforms because we think the 3 platforms together will make real change from us, from consumer choices, and the impact on the environment. So one of the things we've done recently was launch the paper straw in our Nescafe products. Now, it sounds like, okay, so it's a good thing. Firstly, it was a technical challenge. Secondly, it is 7 times more expensive. Yep. I also discovered that the plastic straw in Indonesia is the cheapest in the world. I'm not sure we should be proud of the fact that we have the cheapest plastic straw in the world, right? But it tells you that, so you imagine, my team comes to me with a plan, and I never thought about the cost, to be very honest. And I said, what the hell are you guys doing? Then we step back and say, but it's the right thing to do. And it's the right thing to do when you read what is happening, when you feel the insights that are coming out of Google tells us a lot of things. And if we don't take cognizance and we don't embrace it, we are going to be challenged in the future. So the question is, will the majority of our consumers pay for the straw? I don't think so. So we have to make business decisions that are based on what is right, what is sustainability, driven by our purpose. And yes, sometimes we have to take some pain financially, but we know that the long-term sustainability of our business, the vibrancy of our brands, the value that our brands add will be relevant. Because being profitable today and not being relevant tomorrow is very short-sighted. So, we talk about helping shape a waste-free future. And there's so much to do. From the waste speakers, understanding the circular economy, getting people to even understand how to separate waste. And I know some of you live in places where the waste is separated, but when it gets downstairs from your apartment, it gets mixed up again, right? So, like all that effort, but we have so much to do. And I give you an example. You know, if you go to Banyuwangi and you stand on the beach, you think you're on a trampoline. It's because there's 5 meters of plastic under the sand. It's sad. And yes, we look at the community and say, wow, you guys should be doing something about it, but we need knowledge. We need to be sharing. So this focus, this embracing circular economy cannot be done by the Nestle's of this world only, the Googles of this world only. It has to be done in total collaboration with communities, brands, government, everyone collaborating together, because this projects that we do, and we've just started a new one in Muncha, I believe when we start measuring the impact of how much waste are you taking out of the system, how much plastic are you stopping leakage into the environment, that positive impact is something that you see and feel. And this is, you know, the continent of Indonesia has so many challenges, but things begin somewhere. And why am I talking about this? Because we are not a waste collection company. We're a brand company. But my brands are meaningless if they're going to continue to pollute the environment. My brands are meaningless if I'm not listening to what people are saying. So, we talk about driving new behavior. Can you imagine just getting people to understand how to do this? But more importantly, as brand marketers, we have to engage with consumers unlike others. Consumers trust our brands. They have grown up for 80 years in Indonesia with our brands. So we have to use our brands for good. And one example of this is our Nestle for Healthier Kids program, where we are using the Healthier Kids program, which originally was based on nutrition education. What is a food pyramid? What's a protein? What's a carbohydrate? Why you need to exercise? Getting kids really mobilized and engaged around healthy living. What we have now done is overlaid understanding of waste segregation, understanding of the impact that this has in a community. So we have to capitalize. We are very fortunate. We have a kind of a big business. We do thousands of events. We do so many marketing activities, and interlacing all of those activities gives us scale, but it also gives us a scale to reach out. And this is what we are doing in a small part, because we know as Nestle and with our brands, we cannot do everything, but we're starting somewhere. It is part of a journey to fix a problem that is large, huge, and kind of insurmountable? No. It's not insurmountable, because what will happen if we don't do something? I won't be talking here. A lot of my team is in the room today. They wouldn't be sitting here because our brands will be lost. So this is where we come talk about helping fix the sustainability challenges. We need to solve it together for us to maju sama-sama. Because without that, I'm not sure we here and our brands will be relevant. And why this urgency? And why this feeling? I think understanding the rules of chess but anticipating is a wonderful way of putting it. So we have to anticipate, because already, Just think about this. 6 months ago, 1 year ago, I think a year ago we had the Oceans conference in Bali, right? From that Ocean conference in Bali to now, look at the restaurants that you and I used to go to in Jakarta before. Plastic straw everywhere, right? Now, it somehow disappeared. Everywhere you're getting paper straw, stainless. How come? How come? And so quick, I've never seen something move so fast. This is the fastest revolution. And if that is happening already, can you imagine the role of our brands in understanding this challenge? So consumers are aware. Consumers are taking notice. And this, I won't even call it a trend. It's not a trend. This new culture will continue to accelerate and grow exponentially. So listening to our consumers and understanding what's top of mind for them is super critical. We need to combine these insights with our company strategy and turn them into actions. And this is the only way to stay relevant and contribute to a better society and contribute to a society where you contribute positively and people lead healthier and happier lives. I thank you for your attention. It's a pleasure being here.
Thank you, Dharnesh. We have now uncovered the 5 key insights from Year in Search report and how brands have actions on trends that matter this past year. But what do these insights mean for the future? To best stay ahead of the curve, brands must understand what the future demands. We'd like to invite Simon Khan, CMO of Google APAC, to speak on the future of digital immersion. Well, let's welcome him on stage.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. My apologies in advance. I have not learned Bahasa, so I'll have to speak in English. Ibu Emma, with your help, perhaps next month I'll come back and speak in Bahasa. Thus far, we've looked at how consumer behavior is being changed by digital technology today. What I'd like to do is spend a few minutes with you and talk about how emerging technologies are going to impact consumers, frankly, all of our lives in the future. But for us to understand the future of digital, let's take a step back and look at what these experiences were like just 20 years ago. Now, how many of you remember working on these clunky boxes? I was afraid everyone was going to be too young and you wouldn't quite know, but I'm glad you recognize this. Now, it might seem like second nature, but we once needed tutorials to learn how to use these computers to get online. Let's take a look at one of these tutorials.
Let's start with web pages. So first you need to know that everything on the internet has an address, and all web addresses start with http://. Then to access the World Wide Web, you type in www.
Pretty painful, right? But even before getting online, we had to learn how to input information into these computers. We had to train our fingers how to recognize the keys on a keyboard. And once we got used to that, technology started to evolve a bit, and it got easier. We started to use mice or mouses to move cursors around on the screens. And then it got easier, and now we're all very proficient in using touch screens. Now, it took me forever to learn how to type, but my 3 boys learned how to use their tablets in a matter of hours, and now seemingly don't ever want to give up on them. I imagine this is familiar to some of the folks in the audience who have kids. What's happened is that digital technology has evolved. It's become more natural and effortless. It's enabling kids today to quickly learn how to use these sorts of devices. And this evolution will continue, with devices eventually fading into the background, offering uninterrupted help when we need it. This fundamental shift is what we call ambient computing. Over the past 50 years, we've moved from the PC era to the internet era to today, the mobile era. We think that ambient computing actually has the potential to be even more transformational than any of the previous stages in computing history. Computing will become much more perceptive, much more natural, and always available. Now, we think about the impact of ambient computing along 3 areas. This next wave of technology will assist us more naturally and intuitively. It will augment our real-world experiences using digital information. And it will accelerate the transformation of businesses and of society. So let's dive into the first pillar, assist. So there's no question that computers have helped us become more productive. However, in the future, they'll assist us in even greater ways. Due to rapid advances in speech recognition, we've seen the most progress thus far in voice-activated assistants. And companies like Gojek are leading the way and deploying this to help their users. Through the Google Assistant, Gojek commuters can get anywhere they need to go simply by asking. You can say, "Hey Google, pesan Gojek ke Thumrin," and hopefully the assistant will book your ride if you've said it correctly. And we're expanding beyond that. We're expanding into Gojek's food delivery services as well. So once you've arrived, you can ask the assistant to get you a snack. Simply say, "Order martabak," and you'll have a delicious pancake delivered to your doorstep without lifting a finger. Now, using voice to get information is the first step. What's really exciting is when the assistant can handle really complex actions in the real world. Now, we're experimenting with something called Google Duplex. It's a technology that can do things like schedule appointments on your behalf. Let me show you what I mean. Here's Sundar, our CEO, introducing Duplex last year.
60% of small businesses don't have an online booking system set up. We think AI can help with this problem. So let's go back to this example. Let's say you want to ask Google to make you a haircut appointment on Tuesday between 10 and noon. What happens is the Google Assistant makes the call seamlessly in the background for you. So what you're going to hear is the Google Assistant actually calling a real salon to schedule the appointment for you. Let's listen.
So how can I help you? Hi, I'm calling to book a women's haircut for a client. I'm looking for something on May 3rd. Sure, give me 1 second. Sure, what time are you looking for around? At 12 p.m. We do not have a 12 p.m. available. The closest we have to that is a 1:15. Do you have anything between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m.? Depending on what service she would like. What service is she looking for? Just a woman's haircut for now. Okay, we have a 10 o'clock. 10 a.m. is fine. Okay, what's her first name? The first name is Lisa. Okay, perfect. So I will see Lisa at 10 o'clock on May 3rd. Okay, great. Thanks. Great. Have a great day. Bye.
So pretty magical, right? I love the Now, as I noted, this is still experimental. We've rolled it out in a limited fashion in North America, but we hope to roll it out throughout the world very soon. In the future, we will interact with computers as naturally as we do with people. Our devices will get us what we need and then get out of the way. They'll enhance rather than distract from real life. This brings us to our second pillar, which is augment, where offline and online experiences merge together to create a non-line world. Augmented reality is expanding the opportunities for engagement. The line between digital and physical is blurring. This shift has largely been enabled by the changing role of cameras. Thanks to new technology and advancements in sort of the sophistication of cameras, we can do so much more with photos. Now, of course, we still take photos of everything, from selfies to what we're having for dinner, but increasingly, we're taking photos of things that are actually quite practical, like receipts or Wi-Fi passwords, or even where we parked our cars. Photos are becoming, in many ways, the way we take notes. And it's changing the way we do a number of other things, like shopping. Before the age of the internet, shopping was done in brick and mortar stores. It was a try before you buy world. Then e-commerce came along and flipped the model. When you shop online, you have to buy before you try. And things don't always meet your expectations. There's a lot of trial and error. Consumers can be disappointed if what they get is not right, and then of course, making a return can be inconvenient. It's also expensive. In the United States last year, 10% of all goods that were sold online, $370 billion worth of goods were returned. So how do we solve this? With AR, we can help users actually try before they buy virtually. So this is WannaKicks. WannaKicks is an app that lets you try on sneakers using augmented reality. You can walk around and it'll even track your footsteps. By the way, that's not my foot, and it's definitely not my sock. But it's not just about shoes. Here in Indonesia, L'Oreal is leading the way with a virtual makeup experience. They've partnered, let's hear it for L'Oreal. They've partnered with YouTube to launch this experience, where a user can watch their favorite vlogger, they can try on a variety of lipstick colors, and shop all at the same time. You'll soon see experiences like this across many other categories. Thanks to the prevalence of smartphones, there are over 1 billion AR-enabled devices already in the market. Forward-thinking brands can be pioneers in offering new levels of utility and delight, quite frankly, by combining digital and physical information in an online world. So let's move to the last pillar, accelerate. AI and ML are helping us address complex issues faster than ever before. And organizations, big and small, are using ambient computing to solve business and societal challenges. One example of this is organizations that are using one of our products from the past, Google Glass. Does anyone remember Google Glass? Yeah, we launched it in 2013 as a consumer product. It didn't work. We stopped developing the consumer version, but we kept continuing to explore how this technology could help in other ways, particularly in the workplace. And we created the Glass Enterprise Edition. Today, Glass is actually helping businesses optimize their organizational processes. Let's hear one company's story.
Every business in the world has problems to solve. You don't have to look for those.
Are there more efficiencies to be gained? Is there a better way to do this process? And when the needs of the customers are rising on complexity, you're being attacked from both sides.
Throughout the process of developing Glass Enterprise Edition 2, we spent a lot of time listening. We worked with our partners and with our customers to figure out what they wanted. Glass is a hands-free device for smarter and faster hands-on work. It provides the information that an employee needs in the periphery of their line of sight. So it doesn't come in the way of their actual work environment.
Glass has made AGCO a safer company because you have two hands to do your job, whether they're climbing on and off units or trying to do something in the field. We've been using Glass in production since about 2016. We had about a 30% reduction in processing time, and we had a 50% reduction in training time.
Whether it be manufacturing or field service or healthcare, they're all doing things with their hands. And by looking across all these different industries, we're able to find the unique things that we can provide value for.
It's a tool that doesn't replace people. It allows people to be smarter, faster, better at what they're actually doing as a job.
But AI and ML aren't just helping businesses. This technology is also helping nonprofits. You heard earlier about the problem of plastic waste. And this is certainly something that a number of companies and organizations around the world are trying to tackle. Right here in Indonesia, there's an organization called Gringo, which is tackling this problem in a really interesting way. They've built a tool to help workers in the field identify what can be recycled and how much each of those items is worth. So workers can take a photo of the trash, and then the tool classifies the recyclable materials. With this, workers can boost their productivity, earn more money, and of course help the environment. So in closing, we all should be thinking about how to leverage the opportunities of ambient computing in order to engage our customers, to grow our businesses, and to be forces for good. Ambient computing will assist us in more natural and intuitive ways. It will augment real-world experiences with digital information coming into the physical world, and it will accelerate the transformation of many problems in business and in society. In the near future, we'll no longer be immersed in technology or in our digital devices. Instead, technology will be immersed in our lives. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Simon. This brings us to the end of our Year in Search Insights for Brand session. We will now close with a performance brought to you by Takupas Dance Crew. Takupas started in Surabaya 10 years ago with a vision to help kids and teenagers gain confidence through dance. With over 1 million subscribers on YouTube, Takupas aims to bring the dance community together by featuring all age groups, ranging from children to adults. Takupas specializes in hip-hop, but remains true to its Indonesian roots by covering Indonesian songs and incorporating Indonesians' elements to their dancing style. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause and welcome Takupas Dance Crew.
Mèo da ba giòn ta đi huynh mèo cầm bela ta mèo gato. Na panjam la bol kabar loba ma siti ma yo ma hime. Himbela, kambela, 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 himbela, kambela.
Ladies and gentlemen,
ditinggal ke bojone jarene ra kuat ragati wadah bubure paijo ditinggal ke bojone jarene ra kuat ragati wadah bubure paijo momat ndase ditinggal bojone minggat dadi TKW ake duwite paijo lara disirek bojone jarene ora kuat rakati wedak
Si el ritmo te lleva a mover la cabeza, ya empezamos como es.
C'est comme si, c'est comme ça, ma chérie. La 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 la. Francia, Colombia, me gusta. Freeze! Estamos rompiendo la discoteca. 1, 2, 3, go!
Toda mi gente se mueve, y mi música los tiene fuerte bailando y se baila así.
Salah apa diriku
All right, that was Takupa's Dance Crew, ladies and gentlemen. And before we end this session, again, we would like especially thanks all of our guest speakers, Ibu Emma, Pak Aldi, Pak David, Pak Kusumo, and Darnesh. We invite you all back on stage to receive a token appreciation, which will be presented by Randy Yusuf, followed by a photo session to commemorate our Year in Search Insights for Brand session. Dan sekarang kami akan memberikan token of apresiasi kepada para pembicara kami yang akan diserahkan oleh Bapak Randy Yusuf dan juga Ibu Veronica Utami kepada our guest speakers. So let's give a round of applause for our speakers, ladies and gentlemen. And once again to our guests, we would like to thank you for taking time out of your day to join us at Google for Indonesia 2019. And before you leave, please take a minute to let us know your thoughts about this event through the feedback form on Join Live. Go to the menu on the top right, click feedback and fill out the form. This is a way to ensure that you will be receiving materials from today. And please don't forget to take with you the swag bags we have prepared for you. Inside is our Year in Search 2019 report, created purely out of recyclable paper. Once again, thank you to all of our guests, our speakers. Thank you all and see you next year.